Hi, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet, Brad.
Well, in our opinion, of course, Bob.
What are we talking about today, Brad?
Today we're going to talk about strokes or a CVA, and this is for if you're working with someone at home and you're not familiar with how to do range of motion. And let's say Bob is our patient and he just had a stroke. He's able to sit up and maintain his balance, and every patient varies, but this is the assumption that the person can sit up and maintain good posture, reasonably good posture. And this would be the involved side. This is the arm that had the stroke, and it is very flaccid. In other words, it just kind of hangs there. If it were to come off of here, it would just flop down like that. And what we need to do is give this range of motion to all the joints so nothing gets tight and contracts, and also so it maintains circulation and healthy joints, etc. So the first thing you're going to do is we're just going to take a hold of the whole arm right at the elbow, and I like to grab here, and we're just going to lift up the shoulder.
One thing, Brad, when you lift up the shoulder into flexion or abduction right after someone has a stroke, you shouldn't go much past 90, because they could get impingement. I didn't know if you were going to mention that.
Yeah, I was working on that, Bob.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. So yeah, we're just trying to get a feel for if there's some tone or it's tight or not. And like Bob says, we don't want to go up like this right away. Yeah. You know, look at the person. They may not be able to tell you that it hurts, but a lot of times the facial expressions will. And if you go up and the person starts to wince, you know there's some pain going on, and take it easy. So the first session is just kind of getting to know how the person's base range is.
Because the rotator cuff's not working, you're more at risk for impinging or pinching things. So you don't want to go up too high.
Exactly. So that's the shoulder. We're just going to go in flexion, we call it, and then
that's straight ahead,
out to the side. And out to the side, I'm a little more cautious with.
Yeah. Okay. And you want to try to keep the thumb up.
Yeah,
on these.
Exactly.
So when you go out to the side, have the thumb up. Don't have the arm turned down like that.
Yep, good point, Bob.
So
you think about hitchhiking a little bit.
Hitchhiking, yeah. And then, same with going forward.
Right. And the third one is I'm going to hold the elbow here and keep the humerus, this part of the arm, stationary, and simply go in and out. And be careful coming out, because the shoulder is a little more vulnerable with that. And once you start to feel some resistance, I would not go any further. Be very cautious with this, particularly the first few times you do this.
So when he's doing this one, he's maintaining a right angle here.
Sure,
basically.
exactly.
And he's going in, he's going out, keeping the right angle.
Right.
Again, we should maybe tell numbers. How many times are we doing this, Brad?
I like to do between 5 and 10 repetitions. If you're just getting started, 5 times is probably adequate. Yep. And as you go on the next few days, you'll work your way up to 10 repetitions. Let's go down to the elbow. Elbow's a little easier. It's a hinge joint, so we just are going up and down. We're going to take it all the way to full extension if it goes freely and there's no pain. And same with coming up, okay? And down and up, and the same thing. I like to support here. Here, you don't want to support up here and work the elbow. We want to support right around the joint itself. And then we're going to go to the wrist, palm up. I'll keep the hand here, and palm down. Palm up and palm down. Okay, and then we're going to go to the wrist. I like to hold the wrist right here, 2 thumbs here, and extend the wrist and down on the wrist. Extend the wrist and down on the wrist. Okay, and then I'll go right to the fingers.
Remember, I got Dupuytren's contracture.
Yeah, Bob has a contracture that's been existing. I'll do actually each finger and work up, and you're going to work this carefully as well. You know, if you feel some resistance, work with it, see how the patient tolerates it. Do not get aggressive. Bob has a contracture right here, a real live one that he's had for years, and this one's not going any further, so I'm going to leave it. I can work these joints, and here you can work each joint individually. The hand and the wrist actually takes a bit of time and patience sometimes.
Especially if it's tight.
Yeah, especially if it's tight. Yeah. And you want to make sure you address it. The thumb, I like to go in this plane. The thumb's a kind of a complicated joint because it goes so many different directions, and work this. Now you're going to do that after a few days. With any luck, the person's going to be able to start to help, and they're going to start to be able to move their arm, hopefully. at that point, then you do the exact same things, and then you're going to have some verbal cues. In other words, okay, Bob, let's lift your arm up, 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 up. Help me as best you can. Help, help, help. And then on the way down, you're going to say, now let it down slow. Hold, hold, hold. They're going to do the best they can, and then back down. Those to start out with take a lot of energy for the person psychologically and physically. So you're probably going to do maybe 3 or 5 of them to start out with.
Generally, as a rule of thumb, they're going to be able to start holding it on the way down more than they're going to be able to lift it up to start off with. And generally, improvement happens again, starting at the shoulder and going out to the hand. So usually the shoulder comes back, elbow comes back, wrist comes back, hand comes back.
Yep, exactly.
So,
once that starts going better, and go ahead and help me out, Bob. And now he's doing, oh, wow, it's like, wow, he's starting to lift it now. Go back down, it's better control. I can let go, and it's starting to maintain. Again, we're going to do that with abduction as well as internal and external rotation, the elbow, the wrist, and the fingers. You go through each one and see if they're able to actively move it and have them do as much as they can and less of me. And then to finish it off, well, this isn't finish it off, but for this video, the last thing I like to do is if they're able to grip a little bit, there you go. Now I want you to squeeze my hand, a very natural thing. Everyone knows how to shake a hand, so they don't have to think a lot about it. Now I want you to pull, Bob, pull me towards you, and I'm gonna just give it a little resistance. Pull, 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 Bob. Now push me away. Push, 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 push. And I'm not doing much here because his arm is real weak, but he's still getting some resistance. We're getting some joint contraction, co-contraction efforts. Okay, now I want you to hold your hand right there, and I'm going to push you this way. You push the other direction. And I'm going to let it go in towards your stomach. Okay, now let's go the other direction, Bob. And this way I'm going to hold off on, because again, the shoulder's vulnerable that way. So actually right now we're just going to stop on that, Bob. The big one is push this way and push this way, and you can start going up. There's more to this, but I think this is a good start for right now.
Yeah. So you're hitting in almost every direction.
Right.
You're giving some resistance, and you can get a good feedback. You can get good feedback at where the actual pushing is.
Exactly.
So gives you a good start here for if you're treating someone at home. And a lot of people are, because insurances aren't paying what they should. And, and these are good to do in addition to what even your therapist might be doing. Make sure it's okay with them.
Right, exactly. So again, the whole thing with a stroke, you're talking to the person, you're monitoring for pain, and if you can touch, that helps the tactile information, so that they start moving, because there's so much going on as far as the healing of a stroke. So good luck with your loved one or family, whoever you're helping with, because these exercises can do wonders.
Yep. Good luck.
Bob and Brad, the 2 most famous physical therapists.